It's so easy. But
Okay.
I don't know why a lot of agents aren't in the rental business or the flipping business. It doesn't make sense to me because I always say, if you're going to see a good opportunity, why are you going to give it off to somebody else?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you take advantage of it?
Why
If
wouldn't
you're doing
you
all
take
the work to find it and do all the research.
So the question is this: how do most agents find the secrets to succeed in today's competitive real estate market, especially when the top agents are keeping those secrets to themselves? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Hi, I'm Aaron Amuchastegui, and welcome to Real Estate Rockstars.
Hey, real estate rock stars. Thanks for joining us here on another episode. We are super excited to have Jason Griggs here with us. Jason comes out of Henderson, Nevada with a Remax brokerage. Jason, tell us just first of all, a little bit about yourself and how long you've been in real estate.
Well, first, thanks for having me on. And I've been in real estate this is my 7th year.
Okay.
So I'm from Long Island, New York, and I moved to Henderson, Nevada about 11 years ago, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. Well, let me think back to 11 years ago in Henderson, Nevada. We're in 2011, right at the peak of the depressed market there.
Yep.
I bet everything on the market was a distressed property, right?
It was.
Yes.
And I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
I was a school teacher. I was an elementary school teacher when I first moved here. Just graduated from college. I had my teaching degree, and we bought a condo here for $50,000.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
And I moved here. That was
How
it.
much is that condo worth today?
Oh, over $250,000.
Yeah, it's crazy. We had some friends who moved there back right around there, 2011, 2012. He was going to dental school. And so they were moving there and we're looking at houses, and we went down to look at houses with them because, of course, you know, I'm a real estate agent and they're like, we want your opinion. And we must have looked at 30 houses and not one of them was occupied and not one of them was not bank owned. Every single one was bank owned. So
it's funny because I didn't get into real estate until it started picking back up, like 5 years after that.
Yep.
So I had no idea what was going on. I was just here having some fun, and I think it's the best town in the world.
Yeah. What made you jump to real estate from teaching school to real estate? How'd that transition happen?
So I coach lacrosse.
Okay.
I coach a high school lacrosse program, and one of the parents came up to me and was like, I think you would be good in this business.
Interesting.
And I went through the process of buying my own house, and I liked it, and I was like, this isn't that bad. And you just hear stories of you got to own real estate. And so he gave me an opportunity and I just ran with it.
Amazing. That's super cool. All right. So tell me a little bit about what your business looks like. How many deals do you transact a year and what's your specialty?
So my specialty is investing in real estate. Personally, I am an agent. I do around 20 transactions a year. Okay. And it's funny because I'm always like, I don't really try to be an agent. It just comes to me. People through word of mouth. I really don't do a lot of marketing, but I have my license. I do a lot of transactions. I enjoy being an agent, but I really enjoy investing in real estate. So I love buying rental properties. I buy them all over the country now. I'm just on this grind of constantly trying to find the best deals I could possibly find. And it's exciting to try and test new markets. But I've done really well in the Henderson market. I think it's a really good rental market because of the low income taxes, the property taxes, and there's a high rental demand. So when you put those two together, it'll turn out really well for you.
Great place to invest. Yeah. And you know, I interviewed someone a couple of weeks ago and he talked about if he could really get agents to understand that their wealth is not going to come through selling real estate. It's through investing in what they sell. And it sounds like you have made that transition. And in your mind, the selling real estate is just a byproduct of what you're actually trying to do, which is building wealth in real estate.
Yeah, it's so funny. My first 3 months in my real estate career, I sold a house sold my friend's house, and I bought my first rental within that same month.
Okay.
And I just was like, I like the process of buying my own way better. Okay. And I never left that. And it's what I do on a daily basis. Is I'm constantly analyzing deals and trying to just buy as much real estate as I possibly can.
That was my next question. So how are you finding the deals, and what in does being a real estate agent give you into locating and curating these deals?
Well, it kind of gives you like this badge of honor. People see that you're out there in the business, and people are like, okay, it gives you like good credibility. And then I've gotten all my deals through either myself doing the research and putting offers in on market. But my game really changed when I started networking with off market wholesalers, people who are bringing me deals that are 20, 30% off. And now if you look at my inbox, I have 10 properties that I got to go through today. People just sending me, Jason, you want to buy this house? I have it here. It's worth this. And now I don't have to really do any marketing. It all comes right into my lap.
Okay. So for new agents that are like, okay, I'm a new agent, I'm selling real estate, which of course we all know the income from selling real estate is not consistent unless you have been in the business quite some time. Mm-hmm. And they're thinking, I want to invest in real estate. I want to be like you and buy real estate. Where do they start? Where can they start? What's some really easy steps that they can do to start buying their first investment property?
So what I did, and I highly recommend all new agents or just normal agents, is you have to understand your rental market that you're in. And then if you see a good opportunity, you could partner with a client. And so what I did was I partnered with my first ever client, which is my cousin Joe back in New York. And he was like, find us a little house. And we found a house, and the numbers made sense of our mortgage is $1,000. We're going to rent it for $1,500. And we split the down payment. And I'm here and I run the rental property, and we just kept snowballing that idea, and we just kept doing it over and over again. So to answer your question, I would partner with someone. It's maybe somebody who has a few rental properties, somebody who's a little bit more experienced. And then it's your job as the agent to find the good deal. They're going to trust you because you're in the market, you're in the space.
Yeah. You find the deals. You see everything coming across the MLS. You get, like you said, people that it's not even on the MLS. They're reaching out to you, and you can go find a partner and say, hey, I've got a great deal. This property's 20% below market value. I think we can rent it for this. Do you want to partner with me? We'll pick it up.
Yep, that's it. It's not rocket science, but it's so easy. But I don't know why a lot of agents aren't in the rental business or the flipping business. It doesn't make sense to me, because I always say, if you're going to see a good opportunity, why are you going to give it off to somebody else? Yeah. Why wouldn't you take advantage of it? If you're doing all the work to find it and do all the research. So that's how I feel. I get asked all the time, hey, send me your best deal, call me. And I'm like, no, I'm buying it. I'm buying it. Like your competition with me. And so that's why I've been successful with it.
Yeah. It's incredible. On my old real estate team, we were on a huge team, and, we're running profitability, and we're making as much in a flip business where we're buying and fixing up and selling properties as we are in our regular residential real estate business where we're selling 700 homes a year. Right. The same profit margin for flipping 30 homes as for selling 700. So if real estate agents really want to start building wealth, they need to be in the sandbox where they're playing in all day long, I
never heard that one, but I like that. My analogy is you got to be in the pool to swim.
That's right. Okay. So tell me, what's your primary strategy like for what constitutes a good deal in your mind? What do you see and you're like, that's a deal, I'm going to look into that?
Well, you have to get good on the buy, meaning, so you want to buy at a good price. So if a home's $300,000, I would look to try and get it for $225,000. So a nice gap of, your buy price versus what it's worth. And then I'll run the rental side of the coin. If I buy it for that $225,000, my mortgage will be $1,200 a month. Can I rent that thing out for $2,000 a month? Okay. Consistently. Yep. And so we'll get more into the short-term rental stuff, but that's all the rental game is. You're trying to buy into equity, and you're trying to make sure that the property cash flows on top of that. And that's just extra money, so you could pay off your houses quicker.
Yep. And how have you found that the interest rates, the rising interest rates have affected that? Are you still able to make a margin? Interest rates go up 2 points and your payment goes up substantially.
Yeah. It's, it's an interesting topic to talk about because last year I didn't have any real estate to buy. There were no deals.
True. You can find inventory. Nothing.
Right. There's no inventory. People were selling their house. I could list why would I sell it for a discount? Now I have all the deals. Yeah. I have a lot of deals to buy, but the interest rates are crazy. So yeah, I could get a good buy, but the cash flow right now isn't great. So you have to kind of be very careful. I kind of slowed down my buying. I'm buying a lot of creative finance deals.
Okay.
Subject
like
to
owner finance.
Yeah, owner finance, seller finance, which I love that style of real estate, but it's tough. It really is because, you're adjusting from a 4% rate, which is what I was looking at like this whole past 2 years.
Yeah.
Now I just refinanced one at 8%.
Whew. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Right. It's a tough pill to swallow, but as long as the numbers work, it doesn't bother me.
That's right. The deal is if it cash flows, and if you can make it cash flow, the interest rate really is of zero consequence because someone else is paying the interest for you. They're paying your mortgage payment. And so the interest doesn't matter as much.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's switch topics and let's talk about the short-term rentals. So how did you transition from, obviously, when you first got into the business, short-term rentals, Airbnb probably wasn't even a thing back then 7, 8 years ago? It was kind of just in its itty.
Yeah, it's funny how I got into it. People in my brokerage know I love buying rental properties, and another agent, he runs a huge property management company here. And he was like, I manage these short-term rentals. And he was showing me how he does it. And, they put the properties in Airbnb and VRBO. And I was just hooked. I was like, well, if I can rent my house out for 3 times what I'm getting on a long-term rental, like teach me how to do this. So he taught me about 2 years ago. I was hooked. I bought as many as I could. I had this like goal in mind. I was going to make mine the real like top of the line, the new standard in short-term rentals. And I think I did that. And for an investing standpoint, it's a lot of work to set it up. It's expensive to buy the furniture and remodel these houses. But once you get the systems down and get it rolling, every month, these things, they cash flow very, very well.
And what's the difference, would you say, in cash flow between a long-term rental and a short-term rental? So say your payment's $1,500 on a long-term rental and you're renting it out, and it's $1,500 on a short-term rental. What's the return?
It's probably about double to triple.
Okay.
On normal ones. But I have some luxury ones that will do almost 4 times.
Wow. Okay.
So
and then what's the maintenance cost difference? So obviously maintaining is way different.
Yeah. So I'll use one example. My really good one is, the property's called Davis Wright. So our payment's around $5,000, but it brings in around $30,000 a month.
Wow.
All said and done. And then we profit around like 26-ish.
Okay.
So it's a really good return.
$4,000 a month to maintain it. You've got to have cleaning crews go in every time someone
cleaners,
leaves.
Bills, things break.
Yep.
All those things go into it.
Okay. And so how have you picked locations for short-term rentals? How are you saying, hey, that's going to be a great location for a short-term rental that's going to continue to rent out?
Good question, because a lot of short-term rentals don't work.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that the location of it is important. Luckily, most of mine are here in Henderson. Okay. 10 minutes, 15 minutes from the Strip.
Everybody wants to go to Vegas. I'm going tonight, believe it or not. I'm literally heading there tonight.
Really?
So, yeah.
That's funny.
I should have called you. I could have stayed at one of your short-term rentals.
Let's go.
Instead, I'm paying, $200 a night for a hotel plus the ridiculous resort fee of $49 for stuff I don't use.
I found that people were just always asking me, do you have a house to rent? Do you have a house to rent? And I didn't.
Okay.
I just had my long-term rentals. And then I was like, you know what? If I got a couple of these, I could just like sprinkle them around when people ask me. And that's what happens. I get like so many crazy requests. People who are coming for an hour, people coming for a week, a month. And so having them is a real weapon because you could take advantage of it. And so all mine are really strategically placed based on location. Some of mine are in deeper Henderson. They're closer to the lake. They're closer by Heritage Park, which tons of soccer tournaments, football tournaments. So we get a lot of traffic from that.
Yep. Traveling teams that come in and it's families. So they don't want to stay in a hotel. They got 4 kids and they're trying to pack them all in a hotel with 2 queen beds and it's not comfortable. Short-term rental makes way more sense.
Exactly.
Very cool. Okay. So in the short-term rental game, what's your best piece of advice for people if they want to get into that game? Like if they're like, you know what, I'm going to try short-term rentals. First of all, do you have to have a certain personality to be able to handle all the maintenance and like the day to day? It's not like put someone in it and they live there a year and then they move out.
No, I think my best piece of advice is you got to realize that each house is its own business.
Okay.
And just because you are furnishing a house and taking nice pictures, that people are going to go and stay in it. So you're essentially buying a hotel. Okay. Not all hotels work. Okay. And there's nice hotels in bad locations that don't do well. So you need to find the best location you could find and then make your house really cool and unique. Because if it's just a regular looking house, there's so many of these now that people are going to be like, So what we do is we try to buy like the houses that with unique features, with crazy pools, bigger backyards, something that like really attracts the occupant to come and stay at your house.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've done it myself. I've looked at Airbnbs online and I skip over the ones that I don't like the pictures or whatever. You go into Southern California and you see the ones around Disneyland and they've got Disney themed rooms and those catch your eye. That's what's catching your eye. If you're in Vegas, you want a pool, you want cool stuff, you want, all the things that are going to draw you into the Vegas lifestyle. So I get it. That makes sense. Have you ever had to switch a short-term rental to a long-term rental? Say you bought one thinking this is going to be a great short-term rental and then you're like, oh, that didn't work.
Yeah, I'm actually going through it right now. Okay. This one, it's just a 3-2. And the guy who I partnered with, he was like, I don't know, it's close. And he was right. It doesn't really bring in a ton of revenue. So I'm going to actually manage it myself. Okay. And it'll do better with me managing it. I'll make more profit. And I have it on as a long-term rental too. So I call it a pivot rental. I flex it back and forth from a short-term to a long-term.
Okay. All right. So, what's your strategy for figuring out when to hold a property for a long time and when to dump it? Have you dumped any of them?
No.
You haven't sold one property?
Nope. And because you don't sell real estate.
I like that because you've been
you don't sell real estate
the whole time. Since you got into it, the market has not gone down.
No, it hasn't.
Up the whole time.
And my strategy with this is always, once you pay off, my goal is to pay these properties off as fast as possible. Okay. So my first 10 that I bought, I take the cash flow and I push it down. I push down the mortgage, all that extra profit. So if you're not as experienced, if my mortgage is $1,000 and I'm charging $2,000 rent, I have $1,000 a month cash flow. I take that $1,000 and I put it towards the principal of the mortgage, and I'm just trying to pay it down as fast as possible. Okay. And the reason why I do this is because if the market crashed tomorrow, or we go through another COVID, it doesn't matter. All those houses are paid off. Can't take them away from me. Okay. And those are just cash flowing machines. I have 10 cash flowing machines, and I'm just trying to get to a certain goal a month of $50,000 a month, where no matter what I do, every month that $50,000 is coming in from these tenants paying their rent. Yep. So that's been my goal. And my cousin, he has such a good line, and it's so true. Like, we used to drive into New York City together to work, and he's like, Donald Trump isn't rich and successful because he's in politics. He's rich and successful because him and his family own half the city. Yeah. It's real estate. It's real estate. That's where his real wealth comes from. And he owns half of the city. Yeah. And so that hit me, like, he said that to me years ago, and I'm like, he's right. Like, all you need to just own as many assets as you possibly can. And it's such a weapon. Like, you could always sell them if you want. But I just don't want to, because the real wealth is owning a huge portfolio of real estate. Yeah, that's incredible. Okay. So, if you could if there was a magic pill that you could take that would remove a source of pain from your portfolio, your real estate career, what would that be? What's one source of pain that you've come across that you're like, man, if I could just get rid of this thing? I'm like, sometimes I'm too nice.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes I'm too nice. And here's my example. Like I'll find some deals and I'll bring in people with me, friends.
Into the deal. Okay.
Yep, when I could do it all myself.
Okay.
So sometimes, I am a selfish person sometimes, but sometimes I'm not. And so my portfolio could be bigger if I didn't do that. So I think sometimes I have this where I'm like, oh, this person, I kind of want to bring him in, to kind of help him. And people tell me that's like a bad little juju that I got, but it makes me feel good. So
that's okay. Yeah. You're giving, that's your give back portion of your right. business. That's the give back. Okay. So tell me about the people you've partnered with. How do you make sure you're getting into a good partnership with someone?
Great question. I don't think this is talked about enough. So I've partnered. I'm like a really good teammate. I play sports, really good teammate. I've always gotten that feedback from coaches that I have. So I always go into the deal where if I bring the deal, I am going to be in charge of the deal. And the good part for the other person is they don't have to do anything. They don't have to do much except put their money in, and I'm going to be in control of the deal. And if you're not comfortable with, I'm very upfront with it. I'm going to be like, look, this is your avenue of bringing the money in or doing whatever it entails, but we're going to make it work because you're not going to have to, I'm going to just do all the work. Awesome. And so I did two really big partnerships last year. I partnered with two really big investors here in town. And I was very upfront with them where I was like, look, I'm going to find the property. You're going to do the construction side. And then I'm going to take over all the management and the rental side. And it worked out great because I laid it out perfect where they know what their role is. And I know what my role is. And you get all the legality of it set up with a lawyer and the paperwork. You put in an LLC. And as long as you do that, it's fine. So I have a lot of partnerships. And they work really well. I haven't had any issues.
That's awesome. And I mean, it's like working with clients, right? We know that if we set great expectations with our clients, the transaction goes 1,000 times smoother. Same thing with a partnership.
Yeah. And the only problem I've ever had was I invested with somebody who's never invested in real estate before.
Okay.
Hey, real estate rock stars. This is Aaron Buchastegi, and I'm interrupting myself to bring you this commercial break from one of our sponsors. There's somebody I've been looking at for a long time, and when they reached out to me, I said, yes, we have to be able to do this deal. So that sponsor is Follow Up Boss. There's a lot of superstars out there that use Follow Up Boss. What's your favorite CRM?
We're using Follow Up Boss.
We use Follow Up Boss.
So we use Follow Up Boss.
I love Follow Up Boss. I love it. We have action plans now for bringing on new agents. We have action plans for our recruiting.
We call them action plans in Follow Up Boss, which will trigger tasks for the agents to do as far as calling. Follow Up Boss, I like more for the integrations with everything, MailChimp, Call Action, all those different products.
I will say we used Sync and we switched from Sync to Follow Up Boss.
Honestly, the greatest CRM I've ever used. I've used Brivity, Sync. I've looked at Boomtown, like Real Geeks, just a bunch of different ones. But me personally, I fell in love with Fub about like 7 months ago when I first started using it.
I've used Boomtown. I've used LineDesk. I've used Conversion. And I think Follow Up Boss gives you the most integrations that are simple, and it gives you the best ability to go and integrate large things into one single solitary platform. Yet at the same time, it's still affordable.
I do like Follow Up Boss better just because you can text from the app and things like that. It's just a little more convenient for me.
It tracks everything that I need. I can customize it if I want. If I want to go smart list based, that's fine. If I want to go task based, it's fine.
I think it's one of the best systems and it's very user friendly.
It just really helps me never drop a ball because it's so user friendly. I don't have a one horse in the race with Follow Up Boss. Purely objective, Follow Up Boss has been the best one that we've found.
Now, I've used Follow Up Boss. We've actually used it in our non-real estate businesses as well because it's so good at being able to set timers, set automatic texting and emailing. So here's what we got. For Real Estate Rockstars listeners, you get a 30-day free trial. That's normally 14 days. So in order to get this, you go followupboss.com, just like it sounds, /Rockstars. Go there, get your 30-day free trial and check it out. especially if you aren't using any systems or any CRMs yet. This will be a great one for you to start with. Thanks again. Now back to our show.
So that was my biggest hurdle. Like, I'm sitting there explaining to him every day, like, why are we spending this $300? And I'm like, okay, I'm probably not going to do this again, because me just sitting and explaining it over and over and over again, it's wasting a lot of time. Yeah. So now I could take this deal and partner with somebody who, like my cousin Joe, who trusts me and just would never even bring up the $300. Yep. And I could do a million deals with him. So it's just working smarter.
Okay. All right. So tell me a failure that you've had that you now look at as a successful learning experience. At the time you thought, crap, that sucked.
Okay. I think my fear of flipping houses is a good example. I'm very scared of construction. I fear that everything is like going to always go wrong. And I quickly got over that, I would say, in the past year, where if you lay out the expectations with the contractor. And so I'll use this example. In January, we flipped the house and we made $475,000 profit.
Wow. How much did you pick it up for?
So we bought it for $750 and we sold it for around 1.3.
Nice.
And so something that I never wanted to get involved in was flipping houses. And my partner and I, we kind of dove in, and he was like, just get over it. It's going to be fine. And so that turned out to be one of my biggest successes.
Okay. So tell me, how did you make the decision that would have made a better flip than holding on to it and keeping it as a part of your portfolio?
Yeah. So this one we bought as a short-term rental. It was a 6-bedroom, single story with a casita, corner lot, crazy cool backyard. And it just like hit me. I was like, this is going to be a crazy Airbnb. Like, I know the location was amazing. And as we were going through it, we were remodeling the house, and the market was just so hot.
Gotcha.
And I was like, you know what? We discussed like we could really cash in on this one and then buy another 3 of these.
Take the money.
Take the money. And that's what I always do. Any profit I make from a flipping property or selling my own real estate with clients, I just keep reinvesting in real estate. And so that was really the decision of, we just saw like we were getting stupid offers and people were like throwing crazy numbers at us. And we're like, all right, this is probably the time to cash in on this one.
Okay.
Make a nice chunk of change and then keep investing.
Yeah, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, right?
Yep. So I guess I do sell real estate, but it's like I know that I don't sell any of my rentals.
Okay. All right. So tell me about leveraging your properties. Do you ever pull equity out of your properties to buy other properties, or are you anti pulling cash flow out of that, like pulling equity out to purchase?
I'm anti the BRRRR, really. I have done them. I've done 2 of them.
Done it in the past. Okay.
Here's why I'm anti. Because when you start doing that too much, you're so thin with your properties. And what I mean by that is that you have no more meat on the bone on any of your properties.
If the market shifts,
you keep doing that and the market turns.
You could lose all
7 properties with no equity and you're upside down.
Yeah.
That's where trouble starts.
Yep.
So my goal is always to pay them off as fast as possible.
Yep.
Now, other people will say, Jason, you're an idiot. You should be pulling all your money out and reinvesting it. But my mindset is, if I did that, I wouldn't be as hungry to make more money. So I'm trying to constantly make $25,000. That's my number, $25,000. That goes into a property somewhere. I partner with somebody, or it goes into a Midwest property. And if I kept just pulling the equity out and redoing it, I feel like I wouldn't be as hungry to make that $25,000. It's easier to refinance and pull out the money.
And there are a lot of people in this current market that we're in that probably highly leveraged their homes, and they're probably a little nervous right now because the prices have stabilized. Some, market specific, some are dropping, but for the majority, most of them have stabilized, and now their equity isn't going up like it had been in the past, and they weren't seeing this big gap between what they owe and what it's worth.
Yeah, I think we're getting into I love the movie The Big Short. And, you know, you start talking to some people, and especially here in Vegas, because it's a very transient city.
It's a volatile market. Yeah.
It's a crazy market. And I'm talking to somebody, and they're like, we just bought this house in Inspirada for $1 million. And I'm looking at it, and it's not $1 million house. And you could just tell it's not $1 million house. It's not $1 million house here. It's not $1 million house really anywhere else. And they're a bartender. So they're buying this $1 million house, and their bartender, they're making really good money right now. But if something happens, or, you know, Vegas is very it's like this sometimes. Yeah. So they're going to be hurting on that $5,000 a month mortgage payment.
Yep. And that's what happened in 06, 07, and 08. They all got holding the bag for these houses that they paid top dollar for, and the market turned. And now, you know, they were in negative amortization loans. They were in all sorts of, you know, they had a 90-10-5 where they only put 5% down, or a 95-5 or whatever. Yeah. They did some crazy financing stuff back then. Hopefully we don't get there again. And hopefully Vegas can not be, it was one of the hot spots during the crash that just lost Vegas, Phoenix, Boise. They just crashed. And so hopefully it never gets back there. I think that maybe people learned their lesson there. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. I'm starting to see some stuff, because I didn't go through the other one. I didn't go through the other crash. So I take the information that all these other people went through. But some of the things that they did, I'm just like, how could you put no money down into such a high house, and you have a $6,000 a month mortgage payment, and then you go buy 4 of them? Come on. And you're a blackjack dealer. You got to put 2 and 2 together here, that at some point, if something goes a little off, you can't afford
you're
$24,000 in mortgage payments.
You're on such thin ice.
Right.
And that was the thing back then. Honestly, you know, what we found when I lived there, you know, you'd go look at new model homes, and you're walking around a $500,000 house, and they've got a little placard on the counter that says you can own this home for $1,650 a month. And I'm like, it's a $500,000 house. How can you own it for $1,650 a month? And we're doing the math. And of course, interest rates back then are at 6-7%. They weren't low.
Right.
And of course, what it was is the builders were doing a rate buy down for a variable interest rate, and you're doing a negative amortization loan. You're not even paying off the principal, because of course everybody thinks the market's crazy. Yep. I'll buy this now. I'll pay $1,500 a month, but I'm going to have $300,000 in equity instantly because the prices are going crazy. And that's what started to crash the market.
I will never do an adjustable arm. Lenders call me all the time. Hey, we got an adjustable arm. I'm like, if you say the word adjustable arm to me, I'm just hanging up the phone. It's just, I don't see any benefit to it. I'll never use something like that. I do borrow hard money when I do flips.
It's a gamble. You're literally rolling. It's a gamble. You're rolling the dice.
It's a huge gamble, and it's scary, and people do it. I know people, they have 15, 20 hard money loans going at one time. You are nuts.
Yeah. They may as well just go put the money at the blackjack table. They have the same odds of winning, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So tell me, as a new agent, say you've got a brand new agent that comes to you for advice, and they're like, look, I have $5,000. That's all I have right now. I have $5,000, but I want to get into the real estate game of investing. How do I do it with only I only have $5,000.
It's tough. So I get this a lot, believe it or not. And I'm 0 for 15 people, where people come, they do the hardest part. They come into my office. I sit down with them, and I'm like, go take the real estate test, get your license, and then we could kind of start working, and I'll teach you what I did, which I don't think it's that difficult. It takes time. You have to find a network of people that are going to be either willing to buy real estate from you or refer you. And people just don't want to take the 2 steps back to go 5 steps forward. They want the instant money. So that would be my best suggestion is take the real estate course, take the license of whatever state you're in. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think that really will solidify you that you're serious about doing it, because I see a lot of these wholesaler kids, I'm going to buy a list, and I'm going to cold call, and I'm going to get a deal, and then I'm going to make $3,000, but they fizzle out. It's just not a sustainable business, right? As a new person. So then once I get my license, I would join a team. Okay. I would partner up with somebody that knows what they're doing. Find a good mentor, and just whatever they tell you to do, I would just do for a few years. And then hopefully you could just get big enough on your own where you don't need the team.
Okay. And then you save enough money to invest in real estate. You start socking away some of your commission on every deal. That's right. Like your real estate down payment money. Sometimes you don't need to put any money into the deal. And I'll give you an example. My 21-year-old next door neighbor came out to Vegas for a real estate conference. He wanted to come. And I was blown away. He came out, and this is a 21 kid in Las Vegas. Yeah. And he got up every morning and went to this conference. And so I was like, all right, he's serious about it. And I taught him what I was doing and showing him. I go on Facebook, I network with people, and he started bringing me deals. And I said, look, I'm going to give you equity in these deals. All you got to do is bring them to me. I'm going to finance them. I'm going to pay for them. I'm going to manage them. And so he brought me 2 deals in the first 30 days he started doing it. And he got his two rental properties in Mississippi. A seller finance deal and a subject to deal. And I gave him 25% equity in each property for just bringing me the deal. And so now he's 21 years old and he's making cash flow. He's making money every single month for not doing anything, just bringing me the deals. And there's people out there like me who will give referral fees and give money out to just because the deal is the most important thing in this business. Yeah. Interesting. How do you find the deals?
Facebook. He just was networking on off-market Facebook groups. And he just went to Gulfport, Mississippi, off-market, and there's 10,000 people in this Facebook group. Okay. And he's like, look, I work with Jason Griggs. We buy, and people follow me on Instagram, and they saw that I was legit, and they just brought us offers of deals. And we ended up buying 2. And so he got my partnership agreement is any deal. I don't care if it's amazing, medium, like a low level deal. He gets 25% of the equity of the home because he brought the deal in.
That's a great way for someone young and hungry to get into real estate.
He's super hungry. I was impressed. And now he calls me every day. He's like, I got this one. And we go through it together. He knows how to analyze them now. He knows when to call me and he knows when it's going to be a waste of time. Yeah. And it's amazing. And now he's saving up his own money through his job. And he's like, all right, I want to invest my own money on the next one because I want 50% of the deal. I'm like, dude, let's go. That's great.
A total win-win. He's winning. You're getting deals. You're building your portfolio and he's learning the ropes from someone who knows how to do it. And he's got equity in these deals. That's amazing.
Exactly. That's all it is.
So even a 21-year-old kid can do this. So anybody with
21, he's not a day over 21. He's 21. Wow. And awesome. It clicked for him just like it kind of clicked for me. I wish I would have started at 21.
Oh, of course.
And now he owns 2 houses at 21 years old. And I didn't buy my first house until I was 26.
That's awesome. All right. Well, the last question I have for you, if you could redo one thing, if you could go back and change one thing that you've done, what would you go back and change? Besides buying properties at 21 years old.
Right. Let's see here. That's a really hard question. I think. Okay, I got it. So I was very, very scared to hire someone.
Okay.
I am the person, I never ask for help with anything. I just do it myself. I'm going to
muscle through it. I'm just going to get.
I'm a solopreneur. I still am, generally. But I hired an assistant.
Wow.
And hiring that assistant really helped me. She's really amazing at organizing all my stuff. She handles all my transactions. I send her on appointments. I send her all over the place. She comes, and she's just really helpful to have someone. Sometimes it's like they're like your therapist where you just got to like blow up some steam and you're just, because this business gets lonely sometimes if you're doing it by yourself.
Yep.
And so I found
that I don't need you to do anything. I just need you to listen right now. Just right.
And so for my wife, when I'm explaining the real estate stuff I do, like she doesn't comprehend a lot of it.
Overlook. Yeah.
Right. So she's not getting it, but somebody that works with you every day, gets it, understands it. So I would say I would have hired out sooner.
Earlier. Okay. What was the final pin that made you go, I gotta hire someone? Like, I just have to stop fighting it. I just need to hire.
Well, it wasn't the hiring part. I think it was the money part. Where I'm like, I have to pay this person, right, out of my profit to pay. But then I realized, I'm like, okay, she's going to help me make more money.
Yep.
And so once I got over that, I was like, all right, now I'm like looking to really expand it and build like a team and build an off-market team. And so I'm excited about it.
Yep. I have a really super dear friend of mine named Christy Belt-Grossman, and she runs Ops Boss Coaching, and she teaches a class called Be a Boss, the 10 Secrets of a Mega EA, a Mega Executive Assistant. And one of her rules in that is the 3 times rule. And that is any assistant should earn back to the company, like she should make back to the 3 times their salary. And that's through systems and processes and all the things. Like if you set up a system for getting Zillow reviews, all of a sudden now you're getting people calling in because they saw your Zillow reviews, or you're setting up a system for repeat and referral business. Now you're getting tons of repeat and referral business. So leverage done the right way should return you 3 times whatever you're paying that person through systems and processes. So sounds like it clicked for you.
Yeah, it did because it's just like, if you have even like my 21-year-old neighbor, like that deal, like that was like $100,000 profit deal if I were to go sell that today. Yeah. And I got it for free. And 100%. It's just like I needed another avenue of like a soldier out there trying to bring me more profit and more revenue. And so now I have a few people in my corner helping me do that. And it's been really, really nice.
Awesome. Well, Jason, it's been awesome to talk to you. Wonderful story. Great success story. I love the fact that you have realized that real estate is not just a career. It's an actual means to which you can build wealth if you actually get into the real estate game.
Yep. And I'm a perfect example of it. I went from teacher to owning a lot of rentals, and I wish I would have done it sooner.
Awesome. Well, it's been awesome to talk to you, and Real Estate Rockstars, it's great to have you here again with us today, and we are out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Real Estate Rockstars, this is Aaron Muchastegui jumping in again to thank you for listening to the show. Hopefully you guys loved listening to that one, and I want to make sure that you know about all of the extra resources that we have, and also we need your help. They say podcasts are free. You get to listen to podcasts for free. But what is the cost of that podcast? I would say if I could beg you to pay anything for that podcast, I would say the cost of the podcast is going and giving a review. So whether you download it on Google or Apple or YouTube or anywhere else, please go give us a review. Say what you liked, what you didn't like. It helps us get better guests. The more reviews, the higher we get in the rankings. Right now, we are the biggest podcast out there for real estate agents, and we want to keep that spot because we know there's lots of podcasts out there. So go give us a review. Also, be sure to go to hibandigital.com. If you liked any of the resources that those real estate agents talked about, we've got a huge video vault of those resources for free. Every penny that comes on the podcast that we interview, they give us something that helps them get their deals or helps them work with their clients. And we put that in the toolbox in our vault for you. So go to hibandigital.com and you can get it. If you're looking for real estate education, go to rebusuniversity.com. We have all sorts of courses in there to help agents succeed in real estate, how to get the listing, how to negotiate deals, how to become an investor, all sorts of different stuff, rebusuniversity.com. And if you want to chat with me, go find me on Instagram. And if you come find me on Instagram, you can send me messages. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. We try to put a bunch of content out there too. You can find me in 2 different places. It's at rerockstars.com for our Real Estate Rockstars page, or at aaronmuchastegui.com for my personal Instagram page, where I can chat with you about all sorts of different things. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.